Well. How are we, my friends? What is up? And you are very welcome along to tonight's show, where your Liverpool are now 5 points clear of Manchester City and 9 points clear of Arsenal and Chelsea. It's almost as if we're legit, right? So welcome in. Let's talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend, and why the hell wouldn't you be? The Reds are top of the league going into the international break. Mohamed Salah's in the form of his life, and things are just pretty good right now as a Liverpool fan. So, over the course of this evening's festivities, we're going to be talking about the contract situation. We're going to be talking about Darwin Núñez becoming a daddy again, and lots more besides. Thank you to everyone that is with us. Appreciate your support as always. Mark, thank you for becoming a member again and renewing your membership. And our first super chat of the night is in from Adam Brown. I love it. Let's start as we mean to go on, Adam. And he said, Odegaard is back now. Arsenal have no excuses. But they do, because you're right, fuck them. They have no excuses, but they'll find some, and Sky will find some, but it's okay. We'll just carry on doing what it is that we do, which is picking up 3 points and moseying along. LFC Robbo said, do you find it hard not getting carried away? Mate, if you think I get carried away on here, and I know that's not what you're accusing me of, I'm even worse in real life. Like, I was messaging Lee Gunner loads of stuff, like a picture of a net and the letter O, as an example, just winding him up. But mate, get carried away. See, I don't give a shit about this type of stuff, about people telling us we're a jinx or not to get carried away. Not at all. We are a fan channel. We are here to get carried away, and I am here for it. So yes, you may find it hard not to get carried away, but do get carried away. It's perfectly within your rights. You know, when times are bad, we commiserate together. When times are good like this, let's just enjoy it together and let others worry about whether we're getting carried away or not. It's a bit difficult not to when ARNE slot's so good. 15 wins from 17 games now as Liverpool manager. 5 point gap, top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League. Arsenal, 9 points. Now, I told you, if they didn't win, I'm sending the death knell to their title challenges. And I'll say it for you. The media won't say it, but I'll say it for you. Arsenal ain't winning shit. Arsenal aren't winning the Premier League. It is not going to happen this season. They can file it under another one. Oh, whoopsies. Whatever they want. Blame whoever they want. Cry arse as much as they want. They're not winning it this year. City, I'm not writing off. I will never write them off. You know that they're capable of putting together a run. They are. This Arsenal team ain't it. Odegaard was back today. And what does he do? Doesn't look after him. Throws him straight in for the full game. That is shocking, to say the least. But it was also desperation stakes. Now, my friends, what I do find funny is that before the game, we had Declan Rice being interviewed by Sky saying it's win or the title race is over. You had the pundits on Sky saying it's a must-win game. And then they don't win it, and all of a sudden the goalposts are moved yet again. Be under no disillusionment. Arsenal are not winning the Premier League this year. That is what I'm comfortable saying. Don't know if it's going to be us. Don't know if it's going to be City. But I know it isn't going to be Arsenal. And they need that humbling, to be honest, because they were getting a little bit carried away with themselves, some of these Arsenal fans, thinking that they're the best thing since sliced bread. Oh, and Saka went off injured as well today, so there is that. Now, of course, we never wish a player injury, but, you know, I don't see anybody really worrying about us having a Trent injury. I don't see the media or opposition fans, you know, saying, oh, well, that's unlucky for Liverpool, isn't it? No, they don't give a damn the exact same way as I don't give a damn that they have injuries. Salah Ballon d'Or charge, we're winning the Prem. Whoa, so many super chats to catch up on. Let me go through them, mate. My goodness, thank you. So Matt Schaub, how are you, bro? Matt said, Salah and d'Or sounds better, actually, doesn't it? Let's just call it the Salah and d'Or. That sounds way better than what we're coming up with, Matt. Salah Ballon d'Or charge incoming. We're winning the Prem. Well, look, nobody, Matt, has done what Mo has done to start this season. 10 goals, 10 assists at this point of the campaign. He's the first to do it. So I guess the question is, when are we going to see FSG pony up the dough and give Mo that contract extension? Because now seems as good a time as any. He's got 2 weeks off from international duty. Let's make sure that the heads that be get together and fix this situation. Ashley Dooley, thank you for your super chat, Ashley. Ashley said, Salah was brilliant yesterday. Pay that man, John. Yes, and I'm going to be, of course, speaking with David Lynch tomorrow, and that's going to be a topic that will be coming up. You know, what more can the man do to justify that he deserves an extension? And by the sounds of it, the media today, a couple of bits and pieces have suggested that Mo's asking for a 2-year deal. Give it to him. I think we can all say 2 years sounds more than fair. Rusba, thank you for your super chat, my friend. Rusba reckons that Liverpool will win the league and Manchester City will come second. Now, look, I am getting carried away, of course, but I'm deadly serious about the Arsenal thing. I'm not here to say Liverpool will win the league. I'm not that deluded yet. But I am here to say Arsenal won't. And I don't care what anybody says in the media. There's no signs that this Arsenal team is going to be able to show the metal, the bottle, to be able to rein us and City back in. It's just not going to happen. They're not good enough. So Arsenal will have to just cry for another season. Maybe they can win the Champions League. That's still within their grasp. Maybe, just about. Maybe they'll win an FA Cup. But they won't be winning the Premier League. Rachel Todd, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, Rachel. And also, as you see with the title of tonight's stream, I'm getting fed up of it all now. You know, we've played nobody. It's always about Arsenal. It's always about Manchester City. Give ARNE and Liverpool their credit, because every time we're told we've got a tricky run of fixtures coming up, we keep answering. And right now, Chelsea, done. Arsenal, done. Not lost. What more do we need to do? Our credentials are being underlined. ARNE Slot's credentials are being underlined. And we're doing it while managing our own little mini injury crisis. So, yes, long may this continue. As you can see, I'm in good form today. I'm absolutely buzzed. I barely got any sleep last night. And I'm sure you're probably the same. Just sitting there thinking, dreaming about what may be. And I can't say this enough. The fact that Mohamed Salah does not have to go on international duty this month will be huge for us over the festive period. Because he gets the rest. He's a superhuman, but even he will feel tiredness and fatigue at times. So the fact that Liverpool can now let Mo recuperate, you know, plan for the games coming up against City, Real Madrid and what else, it's brilliant and we should enjoy it. LFC Rabo 26, thank you bro for your super chat, said, I can see comparisons. Klopp, like Shankly, laid the foundations, won a few trophies. Slot has come in like Paisley and can win it all. Well, yes, and Fagan. Let's not forget about Joe Fagan as well. It's a great time. And look, who knows if we win the league or not? Who knows? But I didn't think we'd be here. I got to put my hands up. I didn't. I thought we'd have a good start under ARNE Slot, but I did not dare believe we'd be 5 points clear of Manchester City in November and 9 clear of Arsenal already. And we've already gone to play them away from home. So, oh, wow. You're a beautiful soul. Thank you, Derek. I'm just happy, man. I'm happy with life as a Liverpool fan. And looking forward to every stream I come on to, because I knew tonight was going to be fun. I knew we were all going to be in good spirits. And long may that continue, because we deserve it. You all deserve it. Right, so let's talk Turkey here. And by Turkey, I mean money. So, James Pearce has posted to say, there is no indication that Mohamed Salah is ready to turn his back on chasing the biggest prizes. His family are happy and very settled in Cheshire. So, I don't know what more Mo can do. If he wants a 2-year deal, give it to him. Yes, you've got to sort out the finances, but, you know, let's be frank about this. Mo has shown he wants to be here. Give it to him. Give him the deal. He's earned it. As the banner on the cop said as well, you know, he uses a boner, pay him his dough. Absolutely. And look, by the way, I know we'll get all the comments in the chat from the snidey arse people who watch this back to go, but you all said he was dropping off and sell him. Yeah, but, you know, shit happens. Things change. People improve. And our positions and our thought processes move along with them. Another thing here, James Pearce again saying, all parties have remained tight-lipped over the discussions around Mohamed Salah. It's unclear what's on the table compared to what he wants. His current deal is worth around £350,000 per week plus bonuses. Look, I've said this to you before and I'm going to say it again. I don't think he should get a pay rise. I don't think anybody at this stage of their career should be getting a pay rise. But if he wants to roll over his current salary for 2 more years, then surely this is getting to the point of being a no-brainer for the club. There was one post today, though, that caught my eye, and I don't know much about baseball, but Lewis Steele posted today to say, posted a picture, Mohamed Salah on the right and Mookie Betts, formerly of the Red Sox, on the left. And this is what Lewis Steele had to say. The man on the left is Mookie Betts, one of the best baseball stars in the world, who wanted to stay at the Boston Red Sox. But FSG let him go, and he's won 2 World Series since. The man on the right is Mohamed Salah. FSG must learn and pay Mo his dough. Salah is statistically having the best season in football. That 67 minutes per goal or assist is better than even the 2017-2018 campaign, where he had a goal involvement every 71 minutes. On form, he is probably the best player in Europe right now and showing no signs of slowing down. So even the media are saying to John W. Henry and FSG, pay the man his dough. Pay him. Give him his dues. He's earned it. So yeah, there you go. Pay him up. By the way, I love that the Cop had that banner yesterday, and I love that there is now no wiggle room for FSG here now. They have to get this done. You know, and it's not just FSG, to be fair. It's Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes. They just have to get it done. They just have to. Because the good vibes around Liverpool right now need to be underlined. We don't need to be rattling the cage. We don't need to be letting players leave. We need to sort it out, and we need to get it done quickly and keep the good times going. Dave Massett, let me just get your super chat up, David, and thank you, sir. So David said, glad Slot didn't win Manager of the Month. Look what happened to Forest today. Yes, 1-0 up, and they ended up losing 3-1 to Newcastle. I watched the second half of that game. Be honest, now, we didn't think Forest were going to maintain the great start that they have had, but still, fair play to them. Michael Burns, thank you for your super chat, Michael, said, just remember, lads, Saka is better than Salah, and Mikel Arteta is better than Klopp. We don't stand a chance. Arsenal can't even get their own song. Yeah, it was pissing me off when I heard them robbing the LA song today, mate. You know, we robbed the fair and square now. Come up with your own ones. J Jazz says, AFCON always derail Salah. I'm worried. There's no AFCON this season though, right? Is there? I can't remember. There's so many of them and they change it so often. I can't even remember if there is... if the AFCON is coming up. I thought it was pushed back 1 year, if I'm not mistaken. Is there not until 2026 for the AFCON? But either way, you are right. It is always a concern. But they've already qualified for it now. So, you know, that's the joys of it for Egypt. That's why Mo isn't going away in this international break. They already qualified, I believe, and topped their group to get into the AFCON. So, yes. Right. See, Sky are still obsessed with Arsenal, said Alex. Yep. They always are, and it's getting embarrassing right now. So what's this Mark sent me on the AFCON? 1 second. Right, so the AFCON is at the end of 2025 into the start of 2026. So it starts 21st of December and goes into January 2026. So yes, no AFCON coming up this season anyway. So we don't need to be concerned about that for this term. So, I don't know. I need more information than this, dude. Can you point me to real signed shirts 24-25? Well, there's no problem organising signed shirts. Carl in our Discord group can sort out signed shirts for you, mate. That's what he does for a living. We can figure that out. But again, this isn't something we can sort out over super chat. So drop us an email, contact@AnfieldAgenda.com, or we can sort it out in Discord if you're in there. I can't remember at this moment in time if you are or aren't in the Discord, mate, but we can certainly sort it out for you. Cohen said, Craig, do you think City are in a dark space because the trial is going bad for them? I think they're in a dark place for a number of reasons. So there's obviously the uncertainty around the situation with the 115 charges. There's the injury to Rodri. There's the fact that De Bruyne is getting to the tail end of his career. There's the fact that they're unsure what's going on with Pep Guardiola and his future. And then, of course, there's us being top-notch. So, I'll be honest, I don't mind or care what has them in a dark place. I just hope it continues for them. Yeah, genuinely, I just hope it continues for them, because they deserve every bit of bullshit that comes their way. Right, what else have we got? Hey Craig, do you think... What do you think of the Saw movie? Not my cup of tea, mate. Never watched it. I don't watch horror movies. It's not a horror movie, sci-fi, anything like that. Not up my street. Did someone say Liverpool are top of the league? Bobby, I'm not sure, mate. I might have to check that one for you, but I think the HMS Pistol League has already set sail. So look, I've got loads of notes to go through tonight as well. On Trent Alexander-Arnold, because I know we're all trying to figure out and wait for news around Trent's injury situation. So James Pearce has said Trent Alexander-Arnold is confident that he isn't facing a long spell on the sidelines. Liverpool have yet to receive scan results, but are hopeful that Trent Alexander-Arnold's prompt substitution helped to limit damage done to the muscle. So hopefully we get some positive news on Trent. Now, of course, he's very doubtful for the England camp at this rate. And look, we don't really give a shite about that, let's be honest. So we hope he's available then after the international break. But we'll have to wait and see. Did you see Omar Marmoush today, by the way? Another stunning free kick scored for Omar Marmoush. He's scoring them for fun right now. And I know that everybody is all about Gyökeres right now, and everyone thinks, oh, he's brilliant, whatever. But Marmoush feels like he's sending out a come get me plea to Liverpool. And I hope we're listening. Massive game when we play City in a few weeks. Yep, it's huge, Stevie. It's huge. And more so for them. Like, there's no pressure on us going into this game. And I certainly don't feel it, because we win, we draw, we're chugging along. But if we beat City, that's big problems for them. Then they're, 8 points behind us? That's a lot for them to catch up. And do you know what really pisses me off? It's almost like the media are so arrogant, and Sky, I'm looking at you here, because they're almost just assuming Manchester City are going to just click into gear at Christmas and just go on this phenomenal run that nobody will be able to live with them. But surely they're seeing that there's something different. Like, yes, City have done that in the past. And yes, it has always been at this time. But there's something different this season about City. It just doesn't look as cohesive. And there's lots of commentators and journalists saying that second half against Brighton was one of the worst halves of football they've seen from Manchester City under Guardiola. So, you can't just assume that they're going to go on this run. They have to do it. Would you consider buying Murillo from Forest? His name came up in the last window, but I think there was a £60 million price tag on his head. Now, I'll mention it to David, because we're recording together tomorrow, so I'll mention it to David tomorrow. But I'm not really sure if there's any further interest, but his name was mentioned previously. Let's be honest, with City, recently I see they've replaced top quality with mediocre. Doku, mediocre. Savinho, mediocre. Gundogan, not the same as the first time. So, look, I think Savinho looks very good personally. And do you remember though, Doku had a good start to life at Man City. And do you remember a lot of our fan base crying then that we didn't sign him? Well, he's fallen off a bit since that good start. And our boy Lucho, he's doubled down, continued to do his thing. Gakpo's come in. Salah's doing numbers. Darwin looks like he's back to the Darwin that we all want. And actually on Darwin, I'm sure you guys probably know this, but Darwin Núñez posted on Instagram to say, words cannot express the happiness we feel about the new life we have created together. Our family is growing. Your brother, your parents are waiting for you with the greatest excitement to give you all the love in the world. So Darwin and his missus, another baby, congratulations. And again, if this focuses him down to play, you can see his goal celebration as well. Brilliant and well done to Darwin and his family. Certainly knew how to hit the target there, didn't he? No missing that one. Fraser said, media are blatantly scared we'll win the league. Good, mate. Because, do you know what? I'm a shithouse. I've said this to you many times. I am. And nothing makes me happier than ramming stuff down people's throats. I mean that sincerely. People talk about our channel, say, when we started this channel, people laughed. People said it'd go nowhere, that we're cringy, blah, blah, blah. Look at us now. What you thinking now? Same with Liverpool. They wrote us off. Now, I want to give myself credit on this one, because go back when we signed Arne Slot. I was speaking about Arne Slot from the sense of he is going to come in and do a very good job. And he has. And it's not going to stop. Yes, this great form might trickle off a little bit. But Arne Slot is ruthless. Arne Slot is very, very tactically aware. And he's just not going to stand for a drop-off. It is just not going to happen. He won't play favourites. And he won't be afraid to drop somebody who isn't doing what they need to do. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And I hope Gary Neville and everybody else that was doubting us, that was trying to belittle us, that was saying Arne Slot was the third choice, that Liverpool couldn't get the manager they wanted. How are we now, Neville? How are we now, you sad, bitter little man? G30K said, hi Craig, met you in Cardiff with my dad. Love your content, love the channel. What are your end of season predictions? Well, firstly, thank you, mate, for coming out in Cardiff. Really appreciate you taking the time, and of course your support of the channel. I don't know what my thoughts are for the end of the season at the minute, mate. I don't want to overlook our opponents. I think we're going to have a good year. I think we end up with some silverware. I hope we go on to win the league, but it's too early to say we definitely will. But I tell you what, we'll be in that mix, and that's plenty good enough for me. And again, thank you for coming out. I appreciate it. And speaking of coming out, ladies and gentlemen, we are now just 5 days away from our live show at the Hot Water Comedy Club in Liverpool. We're kicking the night off with Mr. Paddy Doyle, who's going to be doing about a 45-minute musical set, some chart hits, some Liverpool favourites. Then Carl Porter's going to take to the stage and make you laugh. And then myself and Connor will be there to finish out the night. Well, mainly myself. We'll drag Connor up at the end. If you want to come along and see us, there's still some tickets available. You can use the link at the top of the chat. Right. Slot sent one of the players a fine out for kickboxing training just because he wasn't aggressive enough. I love that. Love it, Craig. You're happy and in a good mood. I am. Of course I am. This is what we want. You know? Some people tried to say fan channels want the clubs to lose because they make more money. Look at my face. Does it look like I'm not happy right now as a Liverpool fan? I am absolutely loving life. Craig, is the show kid friendly? Well, okay. Let me answer that nowhere. I will swear that's going to happen. There won't be any sexually explicit content at the show or anything like that. But we will be swearing a little bit on stage, as I always do. But I'm always mindful, mate, that there are younger people there as well. And the show is, you know, you can buy tickets for any age group. But we will try and keep it as fair as we can. But, you know, I can't promise you I won't swear. Thanks, man. I'm not on the Discord due to a lost account. Just email me, GDM. contact@AnfieldAgenda.com, and I'll get back to you on the sure thing, mate, I promise. I'll be able to point you in the right direction anyway if somebody can help you out. Right, some more news. So, only 2 players have recorded 10 goals and 10 assists for club from Europe's top 5 leagues this season. Both of them Egyptian internationals. One of them, Mohamed Salah. The other one, Omar Marmoush, who has 14 goals and 10 assists for Frankfurt. Wow. Did I see Nimoha highlights? He's been doing really well. Would love to see him in a cup match. I think it's a little bit too early to be putting young Rio into the first team. You know, let him settle in, continue his development. Look at him again in pre-season. You don't want to be playing him too early. You know, he looks at talent, and no doubt about it, you can see how upset Chelsea were to lose him. But I wouldn't be putting him in just yet. Craig, have you seen Marmoush scored his 3rd free kick in a row? Liverpool need to sign him, said Kareem. Yep. Connor sent me a message earlier on with it, and it was another belter of a free kick, Kareem. Look, I've said to you guys all along, Marmoush wants to come to the Prem. He wants to come to Liverpool. Loads of reports in Germany say it's a toss-up whether it would be Bayern Munich or Liverpool, but they're the only 2 clubs that he's interested in leaving Frankfurt for. And the only thing I can say to you is, of course I'd love Omar Marmoush. Of course I would. But we are going to have to be realistic. We'll have to lose somebody. There's no way we're bringing in a 7th attacker, 8th if you consider Jayden Danns, unless somebody moves on. So I hope Marmoush comes in, but I don't know at the expense of who. I certainly hope it isn't at the expense of Mohamed Salah, because we want Mo to renew. If you want me to put my stone cold blunt hat on, I'd be open to offers for Diogo Jota. I would. You got to have reliability, and unfortunately, as good as Diogo is, as prolific as he is when he's fit, he always misses games, and sometimes at pivotal points of the season. And I know the injury he picked up at the moment wasn't his own fault. Somebody fell on top of him. But it's still another, I think it's now 104, 105 games like that he's been out. And it'll be another week or 2 after the international break again, according to ARNE Slot. So just that's just my honest take on it. You know, if we had to bring in somebody to improve the team, I would be willing to sacrifice Diogo Jota. Personally, I would, because I just think it would be an upgrade. Danny, we're winning the feckin' lot. Don't realise how massive Elliott returning is. Super underrated. See you Friday, lad. We are Liverpool. We love that, Danny. And looking forward to catching up with you on Friday as well, mate. I can't wait. Honestly, I sent Connor a message last night saying I'm absolutely buzzing. It's only 5 days that we're in Liverpool again. I can't wait. Will I be doing the show in Ireland again? Belfast, said Michael Burns. So the answer to that question, Michael, will depend on what I do at the end of the season. If I carry on with the channel, then yes, there's every chance to do another show probably in Belfast, in all honesty. I don't imagine I'll do one in Dublin again, because it's just too expensive to put it on. So Belfast, absolutely possible. Cork somewhere, Galway, possible. Liverpool, most certainly. If I carry on with the channel, I definitely plan on doing probably 2 a year in Liverpool. So yeah, that's the plan anyway. But we'll wait and see what happens at the end of the season. Rachel, thank you for gifting a membership, Rachel. Very kind of you. I hope yourself and James are well. Still wanting to wait for my invite to the swimming pool, Rachel. You know, where's the swimming pool invite for me? I'll be over there. Inflatables. Harvey with a life vest on. David, I love this. David said, "A king needs an heir. Get us an Egyptian prince." Yes. Exactly. I'm sure if ARNE Slot needs a reference, that Mohamed Salah can give a glowing reference for Omar Marmoush. There were several top Dutch pundits / ex-players who tipped ARNE to win the Premier League this season. There was, I remember when ARNE came in, to be fair to the Dutch media, there was a lot of former players and pundits, as you said that he's a different calibre to Erik ten Hag, that he will come in and he is the best Dutch coach currently working in football. And actually, did you see Ten Hag was back at Ajax? He was in the crowd. Would I do a live show in Derry? Don't know. Again, it's about trying to find the right venue. So we have a very good contact up in Belfast, obviously, for a venue that, you know, is great to play, and really enjoyed our time up in Belfast. Again, really everybody that came out on the night, everyone that was there, just a great place, really enjoyed it. Tanya, how are you, my friend? So what poll do you want me to kick off tonight's stream with? Give me an idea for a poll that we can start off with, because the news is going to be coming over the next few minutes, and I want to know what you guys want for a poll. Buzzing from last night's game, and I met David Lynch. Nice. I hope you I hope you gave him a little bit of Anfield Agenda propaganda, Tanya, and told him you're enjoying him on there. No doubt you did as well. And we'll be chatting with David tomorrow. So he was at our last show, actually. David Lynch was on stage with us in Liverpool for the last show. Right, George. How are you, George? Can't wait for Elliot to be back. Missed him a lot. Hoping he doesn't get as injured as much. What are your top 4 predictions? It's a difficult one, Azan. Honestly, at the minute, I feel like Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea in some order. I think they're the 4 best teams that I'm seeing in the Premier League right now. But it is very congested. You know, you've got us all the way up here on our own, barely able to see anybody down below us, getting out the old binoculars to have a look. Then you've got City, little gap down then to Chelsea and Arsenal. But then it's very congested. If you go all the way down to even Manchester United, you know, there's only 4 or 5 points between those positions all the way up to the Champions League spot. So it's definitely going to be competitive for those places. But hopefully we're not concerning ourselves with, you know, thirds, fourths. We've got bigger fish to fry. I hear, Rachel, would you stop? Would you stop it now? An indoor pool, no less. An indoor pool, Rachel. See, it's all fun and games till I show up, Rachel, with the inflatables knocking on the front door saying, come on, Rachel, we're here. Indoor pool, no less. Very nice. Right. Okay, I know what I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you about Arsenal. That's what I'm going to ask you in the first poll. Right, so question is, are Arsenal out of the title race now? You know, I don't want to jinx us and go with the whole, are we going to win the league stuff? We'll leave that for another week. But right now, first poll of the night, are Arsenal out of the title race? Yes or no? Craig, what's the biggest Liverpool flop you've ever seen? Oh, God. See, it depends how you weigh it up. You know, you could look at Andy Carroll and his price tag. You could look at El Hadj Diouf and the fact that he was a scumbag. You could look at Paul Konchesky and the fact that he was shite. Keita springs to mind as well. I'm probably going to say Naby Keita because at least with Andy Carroll there was some redeeming features. He scored a great goal against Man City for us. So I'm going to say Naby Keita. And the reason I'm going to say Naby Keita is it was the expectation that we all had. You know, he was doing so well at Leipzig. And we fought off Barca and Bayern and others for his signature. We were so happy. We had to wait then for him to finish out the season and come in. Then he got the number 8 shirt personally from Steven Gerrard. And we just never seen it. We just never seen the Naby Keita that we knew was possible. So yeah, I found that one a very, very difficult one to take. Another one though that really hurt me personally was Harry Kewell. I was really excited when we signed Harry Kewell. I thought that we were set, but he never really panned out to be the player he was at Leeds. Finty Tin said, I'd love a London show. I get that it's too expensive. We did look at it, and honestly, mate, I thought Dublin was expensive, but yeah, to open the doors at any type of semi-decent London venue, it's crazy expensive. If we win 3-4 trophies and if Salah keeps up his good numbers, then he surely has to win the Ballon d'Or. I don't want to start jinxing it and talking about a Ballon d'Or for Salah or anything like that yet. But what we're seeing so far this season, there aren't many better than him right now in Europe, playing in the big competitions at the top level. So let's just wait and see how the season pans out. But he's doing his ambitions in that regard no harm whatsoever. Kieran, my apologies. Kieran Varney said, got to be Aquilani after he was sold as the Alonso replacement. So I actually read an interview with Alberto Aquilani recently. You know, he was injured when we signed him. And he just never really got a chance to settle in properly. I do kind of have some sympathy for the whole Alberto Aquilani situation. Because he was a tidy footballer. We just signed him when he was injured, and it never really came together after that. David Massett said Aquilani for me the biggest flop. Look, each to their own, as I said. You know, we all have our own personal takes on these things. For me, it was undoubtedly Naby, and that may be because of the expectations I personally had for Naby Keita. You know, sometimes that weighs in on how you feel. You know, if you expected them to do really well and they hit the ground and don't do well, you know. So I didn't really have much expectation with Aquilani because I didn't know too much about him, in all honesty. I think Balotelli is a big flop for me. So you know what most upset me now about Balotelli in Liverpool? We didn't even get the mad shit. Like, we didn't get the fireworks in the bathroom or any of that stuff. We just got the meh version of Mario Balotelli. Craig, what's the guy we signed on loan a couple of seasons back? Oh, Arthur Melo. Yeah, that was just a stupidity of a signing from start to finish. That was probably one of the signings that was probably one of the situations I was most angry at Jurgen Klopp about. Because that only came about because Klopp failed to acknowledge we needed a player until the very, very end, when he's seeing what everybody else was seeing. And then we ended up panicking and bringing in Arthur Melo. And, you know, from moment one, that wasn't going to work out. Because I remember reading one of the journalists writing about when we signed Arthur Melo, that Juventus were insisting on a buyout option being in the deal, and Liverpool had no interest in it because Liverpool had no intention of buying him. So we were bringing in somebody that we knew wasn't going to fit long term, even if he did well. So it just made no sense from day one, that one for me. You're in danger of becoming as bad as smug United fans from back in the day. See, here's the thing, Andy. I don't care. I don't give a fuck what you, United fans, Arsenal fans, or anybody else thinks about me. Tell me if you were in my position, you wouldn't feel the same. I'm a football fan. I'm not a pundit. I'm not a journalist. I'm a fan. And when my team are doing well, I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to praise them. I'm not belittling other teams. I'm not saying everyone else is crap. I'm saying my team is doing well, and I'm damn happy about that. And the fact that you're in my chat cry-arsing about it just makes me want to just ramp it up even more, bro. Because what the fuck am I meant to do? I'm a football fan. These are the days I dream about. These are the weekends that I live for. City dropping points. Arsenal dropping points. Am I supposed to be fucking sad? Weird take, mate. Nobody's here. And I've said it about 8 times so far on the stream. You've never once heard me say we're winning the league. Not once. Haven't said it once. I've gone out of my way to say I'm not going to say that. But I'm also not going to be afraid of looking towards it and thinking that that should be the goal now. Just admit you're a bitter, sad little twat who's cry-arsing because you got your ass beaten and you haven't got the good grace to just come in and say fair play. And then we'll all move on. And by the way, I want to just call Michael Owen to account on something, because once again he's shown his Manchester United allegiances and the fact that he's a twat. So this was Michael Owen speaking about the Aston Villa penalty shout. If the ball goes to the back post and floats over everybody, then I think I turned a blind eye to that. Didn't affect play. This is a blatant pull. I'm astonished once that went to VAR. Astonished they didn't give a penalty. I think that's a stonewall penalty personally. I don't think there's any debate in that. He literally pulls him out. It doesn't matter if he's pulling him for 1 minute or a second. He drags him out of it. So I'm going to say what apparently Michael Owen, Arsenal fans, Villa fans, the media and many others won't. Look at that incident with Conor Bradley in its entirety and ask yourself, what's happening just before Conor Bradley pulls the shirt? I'll tell you the answer. He's pushed in the back and is having his own shirt pulled. But once again, People seem to have tunnel vision for trying to cry arse about Liverpool. Look at that situation again. Bradley was pushed in the back, and then Bradley was having his shirt dragged. But this doesn't come into the conversation because these people are just laser focused on trying to shaft and undermine us. Fuck each and every one of you. Because I'll call it, and I said it during the game. Look at it again. Can't talk about these incidents out of context or only looking at one part of it. The whole play was Bradley was pushed, then his shirt was pulled, then he dragged the player. So if you want to talk about going to VAR, it should have been a free out. You're welcome. Danny said Liverpool win the Prem of the Champions League and AA hits 400,000 subs. And by the way, I'm not wrong. Go back and have a look at the Conor Bradley incident. Because this is what does my head in. All these paid pundits on television with access to everything. Finite detail, rewind, pause, everything they could need. I could see it, and I'm an idiot. Go back and watch it again. So Michael Owen can go on and be the gimp that he is as much that he wants and talk as much crap as he wants. But again, look at the whole incident. Very clear to me that Bradley was impeded, but, you know, that doesn't fit the narrative, does it? Michael at Brighton did Liverpool a favour, Craig, said John. John, let me say this to you, in all sincerity. What a club, mate. What it is, honestly, as a football fan, John, it is such a breath of fresh air to see Brighton do what they do. Play the way that they play, be as intelligent as they are in the market, be able to sell players, bring in new ones, replace them, and still play a brand of football that is a joy to watch. Honestly, mate, I have nothing but the height of respect for Brighton and the way that they play and the way that Tony Bloom runs the club. And I wish you nothing but success, genuinely. Great club, doing things in a very, very good way. A lot of clubs could learn from the way Brighton are operating. Everybody hates Liverpool. Media teams, pundits, all of them sometimes. I think it's all England versus Liverpool. I don't know what it is, but I know that if we want to talk and make out like Villa were hard done by in that situation, it needs the context of the entire incident. And it needs the context that, yes, maybe Bradley pulled his shirt, but look beforehand, he was being impeded. LFC Gamer and Vlog said, Fowler is clear of Owen every day of the week. We don't call him God for nothing. Exactly. Robbie Fowler is my favourite Liverpool player of all time. Love him to bits. Michael Owen, I wouldn't cross the street to get a photo with him. I wouldn't. If he brushed off me walking down the street, I wouldn't even stop for a photo. I cannot stand him. Brighton are everyone's second team. Brilliant, said Jonesy lad. Just even outside of the way they play, just the club in general. You know, I genuinely have so much respect for Brighton for the cleverness of everything that they do. I think they are an incredibly well-run football club. And if I was going to go to a game that wasn't a Liverpool game in the Premier League, genuinely feel like I'd be going to a Brighton game at the Amex because they are everything I like about football. Intensity, pressing, attack-minded, very clever. Just really enjoy watching them. Craig, imagine if Darwin didn't score last night. The red card that Coote said no foul on. Yeah, you don't see that being spoken about, do you? Who was that? Was it David? Yeah, David. You don't see that being spoken about much in the media. I don't remember the media and the Arsenal fans and everybody else cry arson and kicking up asking where the red card was for Villa. Because somehow David Coote managed to figure out in his own mind that Salah went down to ground for no reason. Wasn't clipped at all. It's baffling. But thankfully, Darwin didn't pause. Darwin kept going, did his job and scored. But yes, you could see the Liverpool bench. You could see the disbelief on Arne Slot's face. David Coote went full David Coote. And I don't understand why he thinks Salah will go to ground there. It is mind-boggling to me. And also, then there was the incident that he didn't go back and book Luca Digne for, which was one he played advantage for because Digne was like a backpack on Mohamed Salah. Again, don't remember all these same people that were cry-arse and pointing out these obvious incidents that Liverpool didn't benefit from. Yusuf said, how are you today, Craig? I'm pretty good, Yusuf, mate. I'm pretty good. Do you think that Arsenal will continue their bad form? No. I think they will start to get back to what normality is for them. And let me say this, by the way. Arsenal are a very good team. I've said it for a long time. Credit to Arteta and credit to Arsenal. But the way that their fans have behaved in the last couple of years, it's making it very difficult not to want to just shaft them and beat them. Because there's no sportsmanship. You get some fans like Lee Gunner who are honest, give a fair assessment of what they see and tell it like it is. But some of the Arsenal fan base are absolutely deluded beyond comprehension with an arrogance that they quite simply haven't earned. Alex, Inter 1, Napoli 1. And Scott McTominay, by the way, with that Napoli goal, Alex, which made me chuckle. I didn't know Billy Gilmore was at Napoli as well. My Broncos lost today, but Liverpool are on top, said Bobby. Must be tough, man. Being a Broncos fan. Must be tough. Thank you, by the way, Bobby. Been a member with us for 2 months. Is it Bo Nix, who's the Broncos quarterback now? Trying to keep up. It used to be Russell Wilson, right? But is it Bo Nix or Russell Wilson? I can't remember. I can't remember. There's so many new quarterbacks in this year. I cannot remember who's who. Shannon said, do you think we sign someone in January? I think we're going to try. But I don't know if the player we want is going to be available. You know, that I can't answer right now. Adam said, sorry late to the party, Craig. Any word on Trent? So, contract-wise, no. Injury-wise, there's some optimism that it's not going to be a long spell on the sideline. So, you know, James Pearce of The Athletic posted something earlier. Let me just read it out to you. Again, this isn't a diagnosis or anything, but Trent Alexander-Arnold is confident that he isn't facing a lengthy spell on the sidelines. Liverpool have yet to receive scan results, but they're hopeful that Trent's prompt substitution helped to limit the damage done to his muscle. Craig, I watched the Arsenal game with my family and couldn't hold in my laugh when they conceded. What a strike from Neto, by the way. Let's say that. It was a great goal from Pedro Neto. And that chance right at the end as well. If that doesn't tell Arsenal it's not going to be their year, I don't know what will. Because that chance right at the end of the game felt like one of those, if that goes in, that's a catalyst to start the comeback, to start going back up the league table, to start picking up the points. We'd be talking about it as a potential turning point for Arsenal. But it didn't go their way. And it kind of reminded me, you remember when we played Chelsea in 2005 in the semi-final? And right at the end, I think it was Idigo Johnson, put one right across the front of the goal. And I still to this day don't know how no one got a touch in it and it went in. It kind of had the feeling of that, but in reverse. Kai said, did you hear Haaland say, stay humble, eh? Yeah, somebody said to me last night that I've heard Haaland say it, but didn't the Brighton manager come out and say it's important to stay humble as well, which 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, Fabian, for that shithousery. We better not sell Kelleher to a top 6 rival unless it's for 60 million. So I hold a very unpopular opinion on our goalkeeping situation. So I'm going to explain my stance in a few minutes' time. But I'm going to try to convince you why I think it's the right idea to sell Alisson. I know, even saying those words makes me want to punch myself in the face. But I've thought about this long and hard, and I'm going to try and tell you over the next few minutes why I think selling Alisson Becker is the sensible play for Liverpool. I know, you already hate me. I expect it. I understand it. But I think I'm going to be able to convince some of you. So bear with me. So, this is how I see the situation. Alisson Becker is the best goalkeeper in the world. He is. But he is also 32, has started to maybe have one or two more injuries that are causing us to have to rely on our backup keeper a bit more, and also could fetch us a pretty penny if we were to move him on to Saudi, Bayern or elsewhere. Now hear me out. The age profile is an important part of the point I'm trying to make. So right now we have Alisson Becker, Caoimhín Kelleher, Georgi Mamardashvili and Jarosz. In my mind, we have a chance to box off the goalkeeping department for the next 6, 7 or 8 years if we keep Caoimhín Kelleher and Mamardashvili and let them duke it out for the starting spot. Perhaps even give one of them the Champions League and the other one the league. I think it is the sensible play. If we sold Kelleher in the summer and Alisson does move on in a year's time, let's say, to Saudi, then I think we have a headache. Then we're hoping Mamardashvili does well, or that we can bring in another keeper, or that Jarosz steps up. But right now we have the opportunity to keep a goalkeeper at the club who has cost us nothing in Kelleher, who is continually showing that he is top level, that he's learned a lot from Alisson, and that he's ready to make the step up. So for me, sell the older goalkeeper who has potential injury concerns, bring in some money that will allow the club to then go back into the market, and we don't have to spend another penny on a goalkeeper because we've already spent €30 million on Georgi Mamardashvili. That is what I think is the sensible play for the long-term stability of the goalkeeping position. It's a difficult one because we all love Ali, and nobody can say that Ali isn't amazing. He's absolutely phenomenal. But what if these injury concerns? Let's pitch a situation next season. We sell Kelleher and Alisson picks up a hamstring injury again in February. We don't yet know what Mamardashvili is going to look like for Liverpool. We all have optimism and we're hopeful, but we don't know what he's going to be like. He might take longer to settle in. He might have a couple of mistakes in him. I think right now we have an opportunity to box this position off, and to do so at a fairly substantial saving to the wage bill as well, because Alisson would be a higher earner than Georgi Mamardashvili or Caoimhín Kelleher. And I just do not understand why we would want to sell a 25-year-old goalkeeper who is quite simply playing out of his skin. I just don't understand it. So that's my pitch to anybody about why I think it's a difficult conversation. And I don't say it lightly because I love Alisson dearly. But I just think this is the sensible play. That's what I would do if I was running the club. And we don't really know what Alisson is thinking as well, said Rachel. Yeah, look, we don't know. Alisson may want another chapter in his career. You know, he may want a move to the Bundesliga. He may want to try Saudi. I don't know. But I do know that right now it's in our hands. And the future of the goalkeeper department is down to us as a club right now. So I certainly am advocating to kick Alisson out the door. But I just think it's the safest option for me is to look for these two keepers. 125, 124. And let them battle it out for the next 5, 6, 7 years. I think Kelleher deserves it. Mamardashvili has more experience than Kelleher. He does. But Kelleher's played at a higher level. Like, Kelleher's now played Champions League. Mamardashvili hasn't. Yes, Mamardashvili went to the Euros, did brilliant. But my point is, we've two great keepers there. One of them is 25, one of them is 24. Why are we rushing to get the young one out the door and sell him? Sell Alisson. Sell the older one. Luyan Morgan, let me get your super chat up. Luyan said, the way Slot plays, I'm worried for Mamardashvili. Well, look, we brought him in, so no doubt they feel that his attributes are suited to the way that we're playing. We're going to have to wait and see how it pans out, of course, but I don't think we'd have signed him if we didn't think he would fit into the way ARNE wants the team to play. So everybody's saying do a poll, but I don't know how to word the poll on Alisson. So how do you want me to word the poll? Because it's a difficult one. Like, that took me 3-4 minutes to pitch to you, so I don't know how to put it in a one-sentence poll. Let's check in, by the way, on the Arsenal one. So we asked you, are Arsenal out of the title race? And we've had over 1,000 votes, and 58% of people say yes, Arsenal are out of the title race. 42% say no. I've got to be honest, I'm in they are out of it, because I said if they didn't win today and it was a 9 or a 10 point gap, I don't see them making it up. I don't. You know, they're going to have to go almost perfect, because it's not just a 9 point gap, it's also a 9 goal swing to us. So it's almost like we've got that 10 point gap already, because there's a 9 point goal difference, or a 9 goal swing between us and them as well, which is like another point. So I think, look at it like it's pretty much 10 points they have to make up. I don't see them doing it. Should we sell Alisson and keep Kelleher, Mamardashvili? Right, that's what I'm going to put in the poll then. Right, 1 second. So let me just get this. 1 second. Okay, so I said, should we sell Ali to keep Kelleher and Georgie? Yes or no? We'll leave that running in the background for a while. What combo do you want? 1 Alisson, 2. So I want Kelleher and Mamardashvili to fight it out for the spot. And I'm not against the idea of ARNE having a Champions League goalkeeper and a Premier League goalkeeper, if we have to try to keep 2 good goalkeepers, 2 young good goalkeepers happy. Let them fight it out. Let them show on the training ground and the performances who deserves to start. Because we speak about competition for places all throughout the squad. Right back, left back, in attack, in midfield. Why not keep that going with the goalkeeping department? Harvey King said, hi Craig, hope you're well. I agree, and same thoughts on Ali. Love him, brilliant keeper, but looking to the future. But I would have sold Salah for 100 million years ago. So I think a lot of us were considering the 150 million idea for Mo. Now, I said no at that time, but I did have my mind open to a Salah sale this summer that has just gone. I'm not going to lie, I did. But then it became apparent very quickly that that wasn't on the table, and it was going to be coming down to whether Mo stays or whether he goes. And right now, that is a very straightforward option for us as fans. Of course we want him to stay. It didn't work for Arsenal. That's because they didn't have 2 good enough goalkeepers. Like, to be fair, Ramsdale isn't in the same league as Kelleher. So it didn't work for them because they didn't have good enough keepers. Dave said, to sell Ali is mad. What if he picks up a hamstring injury that has him out for 13 weeks next season, Dave, and Mamardashvili isn't at the level we need yet? I think you're just thinking too short term, mate. And my argument is, why on earth would we be looking to sell Kelleher in the summer when he's playing out of his skin? So there's question marks over Alisson for the first time in his career. His injuries, and of course, does he want another move in his career? That we don't know the answer to. And even if we just be fair about this, like, even before we signed Mamardashvili, there has been some chatter that Alisson in a year or so may want to go to Saudi. That's been spoken about outside of us. So, look, I get it. I love Ali as well. I'm just saying, I don't think selling Kelleher is a smart play. And I don't think we'd be able to keep Kelleher happy if Alisson was still here and Mamardashvili came in. That's the way I'm pitching it right now. We've got a 25 and a 24-year-old goalkeeper that could be the goalkeeping department for the next 6, 7, 8 years. Again, to everybody saying, Sell Ali, are you insane? What is your response if he's injured? What if he comes back and picks up another injury now? What if he picks up another injury at a vital time next year? Are you still going to be saying Sell Ali if Mamardashvili comes in, doesn't hit the ground running and doesn't look as stable, and we're conceding goals? Are you still going to be having the same conversation about you're all mad? So I know it's not an easy conversation. It's not a nice conversation. I'm just trying to be pragmatic in my thought processes. You can't just keep everything. Like, we're potentially losing Kelleher. And for what reason? Why would we let him go? He has just shown he is as good as we need. And he's 25. A goalkeeper getting repetitive hamstring injuries isn't good, said Adrian. It isn't. But look, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and call him injury prone yet. I'm not. But it has become a little bit more frequent than perhaps in years gone by. You know, this is, I think, the second one I can remember inside the last year for Alisson. You did say Salah must be sold. He did have a bad last half of last season. Yes, I did. And I said as much, Dave. I said no when Saudi came in with the 150 million quid offer, because I thought selling him midway through a season would be stupid. But I don't think I'm the only one, Dave, who questioned whether Salah was falling off a bit, because it's very easy to talk about Salah in the context of the way Salah's playing now. But when we had the conversation about Salah falling off, he had shown that he was going through a difficult period. Now, to be fair to the great man, he's knuckled down. But these things are conversations that we have at the time. Doesn't mean opinions can't shift and change. Same way, all of us, and I don't care who you are, 95% of Liverpool fans said Curtis Jones wasn't good enough. And I was one of those 95%. But isn't the most important part of this, Dave, that when he shows that he is, that we acknowledge it as fans? That, to me, is the fairest we can all be. Because if we don't, and if we were saying he's still crap or he's not doing it, then we've got agendas. Then we have a problem. So, look, yes, we're not always right all the time, mate. But if you're open-minded enough for your opinions to change, I think that's about as much as we can ask for in life. Kelleher looking like a leader out there as well. Good on the ball. Can't remember a faux pas with the ball at his feet. Oh, there's been one or two that were blocked down sort of from Kelleher as well. But it's going to be the same with any goalkeeper that plays in the way that we want to play out from the back as well. It's just going to be a fact of life for a goalkeeper that plays out from the back. Alex said, Curtis has turned my opinion of him around. He's playing unbelievable. Mate, at the minute, he'd be one of my first names on the team sheet. Curtis Jones has been phenomenal. And his importance to our press as well. Like we didn't give our Aston Villa a minute. And look, let's remember, Aston Villa played well yesterday. Like, I know this might get lost in the conversation because we beat them 2-0. But it was a very impressive performance. And certainly on another day, they could have left with something. They like, if that game had have ended in a draw, I wouldn't be sitting here saying Villa didn't deserve something from the game. They were very good. And there were periods in the game where I felt like they had some control of the game. So we got away with one yesterday in that it was a close game. but we just finished their chances and got the win. But I'm telling you, they're a really good side, and I was very impressed with the response because they've come off the back of defeat in midweek in the Champions League. They were travelling as well, and I thought they were very impressive. Sayo said, Salah plays great now because he needs a contract bump. Once he gets it, he'll be another Alexis Sanchez. See, I'm going to try to tell you why I don't think he will. So, the difference for me, mate, between Salah's situation and the Mesut Ozil, Alexis Sanchez and Aubameyang ones is legacy. None of those gentlemen were playing to rewrite the history books. None of those gentlemen were playing to get right up to the top 2 or 3 of the all-time Premier League goal-scoring charts, or to become icons of their clubs. That's what's on the line for Mohamed Salah and his legacy. His legacy with us is cemented. But he has the chance here, over the next 2 to 3 years, to be spoken about with a Kenny Dalglish, a Steven Gerrard. That's the difference. And that's why I don't think we're going to see that drop off. Because that desire to continue to leave this legacy is there for Mo. Starting Curtis and bringing Szoboszlai off the bench must be scary for the opposition, said Samuel Elliott. If Alisson didn't get injured a couple of times, I would say keep him, but no point let Kelleher go if Alisson is injury prone. Again, I'm not quite at the point of calling him injury prone, but I'm certainly saying that injuries are becoming more of a concern. And his age, and maybe his willingness or fondness for a move in a year anyway. They should be incentivized contracts. They are. Our contracts are incentivized. Like Salah's base salary is about 350, but it's believed that with the bonuses and stuff, and he gets up to £1 million a week. That's not my words or a journalist's words. That's Rami Abbasisa's words when he was speaking at, I think it was Harvard or somewhere over in America in a college. Do you feel honestly you can see Liverpool winning the league? I'm not saying we will win the league, but I'm saying it's a possibility, yes. A lot of stuff still has to happen. You know, City could go on a run. They've done it in the past. I don't think they're the same animal at the minute, but they could. So I'm expecting somewhat of a response from them. Arsenal, I don't think they have the firepower to turn it round, to pull in a 9/ maybe 10 point gap. So right now I'd probably say I'm 55-60% Man City, 40%, 45% Liverpool. You know, I can understand people still looking at City and thinking, don't be writing these lads off yet. You know, they have the muscle memory, they have the credibility, and they have the history of doing it. So, you know, I'm not writing them off, but, you know, it's Arsenal that are 9 points off us now. And we've already gone to their gaff. So, yeah, I'm not saying we will win it, but I think it's fair to say that we can win it. Am I streaming tomorrow? Yes, I am. I will be, yeah, definitely streaming tomorrow, sorry. So there'll be a news video out in the morning. I'm recording with David Lynch at 3, so that should be out about 5. And then I'll have a stream tomorrow night. And then I'm recording with All Red tomorrow night. No, that's Tuesday night, sorry, at about 11. And then also there's going to be a stream this week with me and Lee on the Red Mist podcast as well, because we're going to just do a bit of an introductory stream. See, Fritz, this is why I love you, bro. Straight to the point. That's my type of sense of humour as well, bro. I love it. I hear your argument. It's valid and it makes a lot of sense, but with all due respect, feck off. Love you, Alison, for life. I hear you, man. And that's why I love you as well, bro. Always appreciate that type of sentiment and well in, mate. Monkstown Glass, again, thank you for gifting 5 memberships, mate. Very kind of you. It's not your first or second time either, so thank you. So everybody asking about the situation with Trent. We don't know as of yet any confirmation on the scan results, but James Pearce did say that Trent is confident he isn't facing a lengthy spell. So it looks like Trent felt something, didn't try to play on. Liverpool made the change quickly, and maybe that will benefit the length of time here. But we don't know as of yet. But people are feeling upbeat about the possibility of it not being a long layoff. Sorry, I'm just checking through some other stuff in my notes here. Jeez, why does it jump that far? Where are we? So, another report come in said Mohamed Salah staying at Liverpool during the international break will be very important to the club to begin serious contract renewal negotiations. Liverpool knows Salah is asking for a 2-year contract. If that's the case, and it is a 2-year contract Mo wants, come on now, give him his deal. So, remember, should we sell Ali to keep Kelleher and Georgie Mamardashvili is the poll. We're going to leave it running, so keep voting away if you haven't done already. Stephen O'Reilly said, "Hi Craig, I smell a contract announcement for Mo considering he's not on international duty this week. It definitely feels like it's a good opportunity to sit down and trash it out. You know, last time he was on holidays over in Greece, if I remember correctly, when he got the extension. Hopefully this time, yeah, something similar. And Virgil as well, because both of those lads seem like they're chomping on the bit, or at the bit, to sign the new deal. Don't know what the situation is with Trent, so don't really know what we're doing with that one at the minute. Southampton next, and we must win that first. Yeah, no, we will though, mate. Let's be fair, we will. Southampton are not very good. Yeah, I'm not at all worried about going away to play Southampton at all. I'm not. I think we win that handy. It's the game after that and the Real Madrid game that is focused in my attention. But I get what you mean. You can't take these things for granted. You're looking leaner, Craig. Love to see the progress. Thank you. Means a lot, mate. Thank you. I'm still a fat git, but a little bit less perhaps. Just a little bit. We need signings in January. Can't bottle this, said Dave. It feels like if I could sit in a room right now with John W. Henry, Tom Werner, Mike Gordon and FSG and give them my view of what I think would make Liverpool perfect right now. It's sort out the contracts, whatever that may entail. You know, whether it's extensions or we're saying goodbye, whatever it is. Get some clarity on that ASAP. Back ARNE slot in January, and I'm sure they'll try to. Find that midfielder, stock up the squad a little bit more, and keep the good vibes going. Because right now, there is a real spark at the club. There was a period of uncertainty when fans were trying to figure out what ARNE slot football is going to look like, what ARNE slot the man is going to be like, and now everybody's in love. Everybody's won over. Salah's playing out of his skin. These situations have been made very simple. There is no world where you don't give Mo a new deal and think that it doesn't blow up in your face. Because if they do not give Mo a new deal and he leaves the club, it's not going to be just me on here calling them cheap. It is going to be every Liverpool fan with any sense whatsoever screaming, why have we let him go? And the same applies to Virgil. Trent, it's different because we have to see what he wants. We don't know what Trent, at least you and I don't know what Trent wants. So keep the good vibes going. Back the manager with that elusive midfielder. And then let's just ride it out and see where the season takes us. Salaman, or excuse me, yeah, Salaman said, "Am I a hopeless romantic or what? I want Alisson to stay for 2 more years. I can't see the spine. Alisson, BB, Trent and Salah, who won us everything, dismantled." Mate, I understand that. You know, I totally do. These boys have been giving us Liverpool fans, certainly for me, and I'm 43, the best years of my life as a football fan. Absolutely, like, outside of Ireland and Italia 90 and everything that brought to my country and the optimism, as a Liverpool fan, these last 10 years have been epic. Epic. Seen some Arsenal fans saying the only reason we're on top is because our tougher games were at home, like Brighton, Chelsea, Villa. And yet they couldn't beat us at their gaff when they were ahead. It's almost as if they're full of shit, mate, isn't it? It's almost as if they just need to make themselves feel better, and belittling someone else's achievements is what's doing it for them right now. And that's okay. But don't pay attention to it, because they said we had an easy start. We acknowledged that easy start for the first 5 games and we did our job. We lost to Forest, but yet they said we played nobody. Beat Brighton, who just beat City. Went and beat Leverkusen 4-0 comfortably. Went to Arsenal's gaff, drew with them. You know, the reason we're top of the league right now is because we're top of the league right now. End of. It's because we've got 15 wins from 17 in all competitions. It's because we're turning games that were draws in the past for us into wins. And we're keeping clean sheets. These are the 2 differences for me that have pushed us to where we are. In years gone by, there were some of those games that we've won that we would have drawn under Jurgen because of the style of play. And there are other ones where we may have conceded more. Perhaps we would have won by higher margins at times, but the balance that ARNE is finding right now, it's just working. And it's not our fault that that Man City bottled the 1-0 lead at the Amex. That's not on us. You know, it's not our fault that Gabriel Martinelli and Arsenal were such cowards that they were running towards the corner flag with 15 minutes left at home against us. Let's see if you ever see Liverpool doing that. Playing Manchester City, we're 2-1 up, let's say, with 15 minutes to go at Anfield, and Luis Diaz picks up the ball halfway inside the opposition half. What do you think Diaz is going to do there? Because I promise you, he's not running to the corner flag because the manager wouldn't stand for it, the fans wouldn't stand for it, and it's just cowardly behaviour. And that's why they won't win a title, because they don't have the stomach to win a title. Today, there's no way any manager in their right mind plays Odegaard for the full game. None. Nobody comes back from that long out and gets played for the full 90. Nobody. So he threw him in. He threw Rice in with the broken toe. And Saka's now probably out injured. So if Arsenal want to look at somebody to blame, look at the man that looks like a Lego character. Because he's your answer. It's not us. It's not the refs. It's the gaffer. Because, as Carragher said, he's more like Mourinho than he is Guardiola. And there's something to that. Stargirl said, I wonder if Trent was thinking of leaving, but now is doing really well and Real Madrid are not playing great. Maybe he actually doesn't know. I haven't got a clue. Stargirl. But remember what I did at the start of the stream about Alisson, and I spoke through my thought process. Well, I'm going to do the same now about Trent. This is what I think. When Jurgen Klopp told us in February that he was leaving the club at the end of the season, it was no surprise to me to see Mohamed Salah and Virgil and Trent and players who were nearing the end of their contracts take a moment before committing. I think that was absolutely understandable and fair. They wanted to see who was next. So then the club made the announcement that Arne was joining Liverpool and he was going to be the next head coach. Some of these questions were then answered, but Virgil and Trent and Mo and the other players whose contracts are getting towards their expiry Needed to see what he was going to be like on the training ground. Needed to see if we were still going to be competitive. And needed to see if we were going in the right direction. I think those questions have now been answered. The players are talking a lot about Arne Slot's methods on the training ground, how they're enjoying themselves, how they're learning a lot. Liverpool are answering the questions about being competitive by, being top of everything. So, for me, the what-ifs for Trent are gone. It's about what he wants now. Because I think the club have answered his questions. Jurgen left. Can we replace him with a good manager? Yes. Is he a manager that's going to improve you? Yes. Is he a manager that's going to make us competitive? Yes. So my question to Trent is, what more do you need? Because I don't think it's going to be about money. I think the club and Trent can get to a number that makes him happy. It's just a question of, do you want to commit the peak years of your career to Liverpool, or do you fancy a spell abroad and to go to Madrid or elsewhere? Arne Slot, John W. Henry, nobody can answer that question but Trent Alexander-Arnold. And my advice, if I could do so as a fan to Trent, would be just be upfront and honest. When you know, let us know. Because I don't think dragging it out, if you know, and if it's negative, will help. I think giving everybody the hard truth up front, they'll understand. We won't like it. Nobody wants Trent to go. But if you said, look, I want to win more stuff in my career elsewhere, and I want to try and win X, Y, or Z, okay. It's not what we want to hear, but I think most Liverpool fans would respect it. What we don't want to happen is to be taken for idiots and to be strung along as he runs a contract down. That's not going to help anybody. And I will never, ever call Trent a snake. Ever. I've said this before. When McManaman left, or when Michael Owen left, or others left, the club just weren't in the right place and weren't challenging as we'd want to. And there's a lot of what ifs. For Stevie G, if he went to Chelsea, well, what if Liverpool won the league? Trent's done that. He doesn't have the what ifs. He does have the legacy. He does have the how he'll be looked upon in his home city for the rest of his life. That is part of this equation. But the club have done what they can do. If Trent still needs convincing, then that's a Trent situation. Guys, we should be prepared to have two great teams coming up. Man City lost 4 in a row and Real Madrid are not playing very well. Yep. Look, I think for the Madrid game, whatever happens there is not going to really alter our Champions League fate too much. If we draw or lose to Madrid, worst case scenario, you still feel like we're going to get into that top 8 and we're going to make sure we're certainly into the knockout rounds of the Champions League. So I think the Manchester City one is certainly the one for me that has bigger permutations for the season, because if we beat them, that's 8 points and still 9 over Arsenal. That's a lot for two teams to have to do. So that game is huge. It is absolutely huge, and I cannot wait for it. Anfield's going to be bouncing. I think Arne Slot's going to be chomping at the bit to, again, show what he's about and go up against Pep Guardiola. It's a huge one. It is. It's the real big, monumental game of the season so far. So if I had to drop points in one of them, I'd certainly rather drop the points against Madrid, because I don't think that will impact us overall. Arne Slot built an indoor gym for one of his players to help him build up physically. I wouldn't mind if he built me an indoor buffet, said Zach. Yes, I wouldn't say no to an indoor buffet. Spurs lost to Ipswich. Oh, on that, on this, I want to call out a publication on that, because I sent Connor something earlier on, because I often look at things and interpret them and think, Jesus, but sometimes I misread things. So I sent Connor a message earlier on, and this was posted by Goal, and the headline was, worst manager in the league, Spurs fans want fat fraud Fat fraud, Postecoglou sacked tonight after disgraceful Ipswich defeat. Now the words fat fraud, sacked and disgraceful are all in quotation marks, meaning they're obviously taken from social media posts or whatever. But that is still a scumbag headline to post. Because if we all want to troll social media for the worst comments about a manager, a player or a person, you'll find them. But it doesn't mean you have to run with them. You're supposed to be a credible professional organisation. If I ran with that on a thumbnail, I would expect absolute grief from it. So why do Goal think it's okay to go, worst manager in the league, Spurs fans want fat fraud, Postecoglou sacked tonight? Be better. Be fucking better. Just... it's awful. You know, that's what they're all resorting to now. Because, do you know the real truth about it? Do you know why you're seeing this type of stuff? I'm going to tell you the truth. Because they're losing to YouTubers. That's why. First, when fan content started coming around, everybody was laughed at and ridiculed. Now, Sky, TNT, and everybody else are trying to be YouTubers. They're trying to get those clickable moments, clips, highlights, thumbnails, best of, worst of, sound bites. They're all turning in to YouTubers. The problem is they can't do it as well as YouTubers can because they don't have the connection, and that's what they're all missing. YouTubers work in fan content because people relate to what they're doing. People relate to the emotion. People relate to what they're seeing and the people that are there. Trying to turn Gary Neville and Roy Keane into YouTubers, it's just not going to work because they don't have that same connection. I find this hilarious as a YouTuber to see mainstream content makers dumb down their content to go head to head with us in the YouTube world rather than continue along their own path because they're losing out. It's genuinely my view on it. I'd love to speak to other YouTubers about it and see what they feel, but for me, I feel like they're all dumbing down their own content to try to go head to head with the YouTubers. Because there's no way you see that headline I read you out a minute ago 4 or 5 years ago. No way. Harvey King said, Craig, my wife says there's 4 in our relationship. Me, you, the dog and the wife. Not necessarily in that order. I'm very humbled to be mentioned as part of your relationship or life, mate. I think my wife would probably answer something of the same. She knows I have 2 families now. I've got my real family and then I've got my Liverpool family from around the world, and she knows how important this is to me as well. She also understands that we live now, that we only ever holiday in international windows. She knows that's happening as well. And by the way, I don't need to sit on the international break. I've made my mind up. I'm staying. And I apologise for letting these fuckers get in my head, because they shouldn't. I should know better. I should be stronger than that. And I'm going to just stay here. I'm going to stay focused on what you're doing, what I'm doing, and the rest of them can carry on doing this. Because to quote one of the greatest bowlers of all time, they watched on because it's all they could fucking do. So bring it. I'm going to the fucking top. It's happening. Bring it. Keep ignoring us. Keep looking down your fucking nose at us. But we're going to keep doing what we do, which has been the best goddamn Liverpool content creators on the internet, with the best community on the internet, and we're going to continue to grow our family around the world. Because I think I'm needed. I think we're needed. Because somebody has to say it like it is. So I want to apologise to you all for letting it get in my head, but I'm going fucking nowhere. Because I've earned the right to be here. We've earned the right to be here. So thank you for bearing with me. Thank you, Adam. Very kind of you. Thank you. I also want to thank Lee. Lee's been good for me to bounce off, and it's good having somebody like Lee who encounters some of the same stuff that I do, and being able to throw these things back and forth with him helps a lot, and Connor as well. But yeah, we're not done here. I think we're building. I still feel we're building. So yeah, I'm proud of us, all of us. I'm proud of you guys, and I didn't realize that I was. I didn't realize that I played a part in so many of your lives on a daily basis, because I don't ever think big picture like that. But the emails, the messages, the kindness, it meant so much to me. It did. It meant so much to me as a human being to feel that loved and that cared for by people who I may not ever meet, and to stand in my corner with me and understand me and accept me for the person that I am. I owe you a debt of gratitude, and I'm going to try my best to make sure I repay your faith. Right. Enough of the soppy shit. Let's get back into talking about why we're going to do the quadruple. This poll's closing in a little bit, so I'm going to leave it running if you don't mind. I always am fascinated to see how sometimes at the start of these polls we're far in one direction but it closes. So the question is, should we sell Ali to keep Kelleher and Georgie Marmadashvili? I'm going to keep it going for the last 10 minutes and see what the verdict is. Also, most importantly though, one last quick thing. I want to thank my wife, because she's the only person that can talk to me bluntly and tell me when I've been a pussy. And she's the only person I listen to. So thank you to her as well for the harsh truths midweek. Because she told me we're not done. We're not finished this. Right. Craig, I say if we beat Real Madrid, we will smash City. Let's get through Southampton first. And hopefully none of our boys go through the international break, touch wood, with any knocks or anything. Yeah, I honestly... Do you know what's come up so much in chats in the last few days with you guys, on Discord or anywhere? The amount of Liverpool fans are saying things like, I feel like I'm in a dream. I can't believe the start of the season. I didn't see this coming. Do you know how nice that is? To have these conversations with everyone every day and hear people who I chat with every day just say, honestly can't believe this, Craig. Can't believe the start of the season. Can't believe where the club's at. Can't believe the positive vibes around the club. Can't believe that ARNE has been able to do this. I hope the owners are paying attention, because they've done a great job in bringing in ARNE, but we got to carry this on now. They need to learn from past mistakes of not building on success as much as they should have, because they're custodians of the most successful club in English football history, and they have a duty to continue on this success. So let's not let this do what we've done in other seasons and peter down into what if season. Let's grab it by the balls and own it. Think the only reason why Trent is questioning his future is because Scousers playing at Liverpool are under a different type of pressure. Maybe he doesn't want to feel that in some way anymore. Excuse me. Look, I've tried to be really honest about this as much as I can. You know, I don't know Trent Alexander-Arnold. You don't know Trent Alexander-Arnold. We don't know what gets him out of bed in the morning, what worries him, what excites him. We know what we see on the pitch, and we know that we love him. So every player gets one career, and he's at a fork in the road now, where he has to decide whether he wants to stay at his boyhood club and continue to push ahead and win trophies, or whether he wants to taste another chapter in his career. And look, if I could appeal to Trent, we get it. We understand Real Madrid and everything that comes along with that, and the bright lights and the focus and the adulation and playing at the Bernabeu and delivering trophies. It's appealing. I don't think anybody questions that. But there's not one fibre in my body that feels like no matter what he does, if he goes to Madrid, it won't be the same. And I feel like he has the potential to have a statue built for him. He has the potential to do what he's dreamt of doing, which is captain in the football club. And I don't think he's ever going to win a Ballon d'Or. I'm going to be honest about that. I don't, no matter where he is. We want him to stay. We do. We do. We want him to stay, and I hope he makes that decision. I fear he's already made up his mind, but I hope maybe this last week has just reignited that spark that he sees why Anfield is special, why European nights are a little bit different, because I don't think he's ever going to be able to capture that anywhere else, because it won't mean as much to him anywhere else. Right, a couple of super chats to go through. Glad to hear that, Craig. Thank you, Zach. Keep going, man, and you'll be undeniable. But also keep having fun, and who cares what others say? They're jealous of your success. This channel wouldn't be the most watched if it wasn't true. Yeah, that's another part that I have to acknowledge as well. You know, when you hear, like, when I say I'm the most watched Liverpool fan channel in the world, your mind goes, but who's watching? Is it opposition fans coming in to laugh at you, or is it Liverpool fans? And I found out it is Liverpool fans, and yes, there are some opposition fans, but I need to not be afraid. I need to not be afraid to try and make something of this. Let me tell you all what moment in time this is, my friend. It's the beginning of something huge. Love you, said Jeff. Thank you, bro. And I hope you mean not just me there, mate, but I'm talking about the club there in your comment as well, because it feels like we're going to do the unbelievable, which is not fall off a cliff when Jurgen left. And look, we don't know how successful Arne Slot's going to be, but I think we're comfortable in saying we're going to be successful with him in some way or form, because he looks the real deal. I hope someday I get a chance to speak with him. Even if it's in 15 years' time, he's not at the club and I see him, I bump into him at a game somewhere, because heaven knows I don't think the club are letting me near Arne Slot anytime soon. But I hope I get the chance to tell him on a personal basis how impressive I think he is, because he is a very impressive man. Not only because he looks like yours truly a little bit, but genuinely I've been bowled over with him from day one, taking the responsibility of the job and not fearing it, acknowledging the greatness that came before him, acknowledging the squad that he inherited, but being his own man, making his decisions. He's such an impressive character. He really is. And I hope you guys feel the same about him. Because for all the things I do say over the years that maybe over time come back to bite me, you know, Trent not playing well or Jones not being good enough, nobody's ever going to be able to say I had any doubts about Arne Slot, because I haven't. From day one I've said he isn't coming in to be a scapegoat, or he isn't coming in to be a sacrificial lamb, because I know what makes him tick, and he's a winner. And thank you, Mark, as well. Appreciate you. 35 months. That has to be the longest membership, mate. It has to be. Don't think anybody's going to beat that one. Concerned about Chiesa, said Albert Joe Francie. I'm a little bit concerned, but I'm also hopeful, because right now it sucks. You know, we got a little taste of Federico Chiesa. We've seen the excitability. We've seen how happy he was to be here. And then we haven't seen much of him. But I hope it's for the greater good. You know, I really do hope that what they're trying to do now in building this base of fitness is going to stand them in good stead over the 4 or 5 years he's here. And if that is the case and we can build on it, I think this little bit of pain right now and frustration will be worth it in the longer term. Yeah, that's how I feel about Chiesa. I'm buzzing that he's here. But I do understand that it's going to take a little bit of time to get him up to fitness-wise where he needs to be. Craig, would Harvey Elliott walk straight back into the starting 11 when fully fit? Well, I don't think he would have ever walked into the starting 11 straight away. You know, I don't know if... And I love Elliott, so I say this as one of Elliott's fans. I don't know if I think of him yet as somebody who walks into a starting 11. He has the potential to get to a point where he walks back into a starting 11, but right now, I just think his availability will give Arne Slot another string to his bow and give us something different that some of the other midfielders perhaps now don't have. So I look at him as somebody who's able to pick up pockets of space and always show himself to be available to receive the ball. And we don't have many of them. I think he's a more natural fit to that role. I see him as a Phil Foden, David Silva-esque type player for us. And it's just about keeping him fit. And I think he's going to... He might not be a prolific goal scorer for us, but I think he'll certainly chip in with a lot of assists and creative moments. And again, he's one of us. He bleeds red. He loves the club. And he wants so badly for it to work for him here. And we do as well. Who was the highest potential? Dominic, Harvey or Curtis? I think the answer is Szoboszlai. Because if every one of those players were at 100% of their ability that we've seen, and I know you're talking about potential still, I think Dominic Szoboszlai ticks every box. He could be, and excuse the comparisons because I know it's talking him up a lot, he could be a De Bruyne, a Gerrard-esque, an Odegaard-esque, ticks every box. So he has the potential to be, in my opinion, a superstar. Jones has the potential to be a very, very good player, and Elliott as well. But Dom, I cannot tell you how highly I believe in what he's capable of. We haven't seen enough of it, but he's got all the tools. Great news. Keep going, young man. Thank you. It's not very often I get called young, Des. Thank you. You're as entitled to meet Arne Slot as any other fan, channel boss. Oh, I'd love to. Do you know what hurt me and what made me a little bit bitter? You know when Jurgen was leaving and he had the farewell show at the M&S Bank Arena, formerly the Echo. We wrote to the club asking, because we'd seen Redmen and the Anfield Rap get time to sit down with Jurgen and speak with Jurgen and, you know, talk back about Jurgen's time at the club and get some photos with him, do all that other stuff. And that hurt. Not because I begrudge them, because I love that those boys are living their dream. I do, sincerely. I've got no ill feeling towards any of them. And I love that they're living their dream. But we wrote to the club twice to ask, could we even buy a ticket to go to the event? Not to even meet Jurgen, but just to be there on that night. And we were ignored twice. And it stung because it left us in no doubt of what the club think about us as a channel, which is not positive. And it hurt. So I don't expect to ever get near the club to speak to Arne or any of the players. And that's okay. Maybe that's not my job. Maybe that's not my place in life. Maybe I'm here to speak for people who don't have a voice. I don't know. But I can tell you that one hurt me and Connor, because Jurgen Klopp meant a lot to both of us, as he did many Liverpool fans. And we weren't trying to get something that anybody else couldn't have had a chance to do. We just wanted a bit of a level playing field. And again, we were just ignored. And that sucks. Wow, this poll is close. The longer we leave it, the closer it is. Do you remember people said in 2017 Salah was a one-season wonder? Yes, of course. If Liverpool can beat Real Madrid, I'll bet that Trent will stay and sign the contract. Look, I don't think it's going to come down to a result against Real Madrid for Trent. I don't. I think it's just going to be a case of deciding what he wants to do. Do you know what would be mental though? Like, we're all talking about Madrid, but let's say, for instance, he surprised us and ended up signing for Barca or something. Because there was reports in Spain that it's not just Madrid that are in the mix for Trent. We're all just assuming it's only Madrid he's thinking about. Den Block said, did you see Omar Marmoush's free kick today? He's the first player to score 3 free kicks in a row. I did. And another belter of a free kick, mate. Yeah, I mean, the numbers he's doing this season now, I think, what is it now? 14 or 15 goals, 10 assists. It's only himself and Mo that have 10 goals and 10 assists in any league in Europe right now, in the top leagues. It's only those two men that have 10 goals and 10 assists or more. Craig, I heard today that Liverpool only played Arsenal away. United, not relevant. Guess the fans. Arsenal, of course. They neglect to mention, though, that we have been to their gaff and they couldn't beat us. Does that not say something to them? You know, oh, we've not played anybody away. Well, we played you fuckers away and you didn't do anything. As McGregor said, you'll do nothing. And you did nothing. So, let them. You know, we've been to Old Trafford, trounced them. We will beat them at Anfield. We have to play City twice. Who knows how that goes? Arsenal at Anfield's not going to be a walk in the park either because they're a good side. So, yeah, there's football still to be played this season. But give us our credit because we've earned it. If I were an ambassador for Liverpool, I would invite you to the club. Thank you. Look, again, we wrote to the club asking for some confirmation of our place in the Liverpool media landscape because we're absolutely open to the idea that they look at us and think something from a clip or from some moments. But I think overall this channel is positive and helps people, reaches out to people and cares about the club, the city and the people. And if that isn't good enough for the club, I can't do much about that. Do I miss Hendo? No, but I'm sad how it ended because I thought he was a magnificent captain. And I defended him no end. I had to sit on video sets and shoots where I had to listen to people saying he's the worst Premier League captain to win a Premier League in the history of the Premier League. I had to listen to that type of shit from people and listen to the disrespect about Hendo. And I've always stood by him because I thought he was a magnificent captain. But the way he left, not so much the way he left, the way he looked in the camera and lied through his fucking teeth about why he was leaving was an insult. You know, you weren't leaving to grow the game. Don't try and lie. Just, you're going, you wanted to go. Did want to fight for your place. You didn't want to stick about. You wanted to go try to get the money. Just be honest about it. That's the part that pissed me off the most. It's just like the duplicitous nature of the whole. I'm not turning my back on all the other people. You were. Just be honest about it. Even if we finish second, we still love and support Liverpool. Exactly, of course. This season, Liverpool have beaten 2 top 6 sides, said Antoine. Craig, you and Connor should be, I don't know what you mean by that, Michael, out of a me. Yeah, sorry, man. I was reading a comment there, a bit distracted. Right, look. Greetings from Mexico. Wow, Rodrigo, how are you, mate? Welcome in. Said, love your channel. Any real left back, DM, right wing signing options you'd like to have? Left back, I like the Goalkeeper from Bruges, and I like ENQUIRIES from Wolves. DM, I'm kind of easy, man. I like Ederson. I've always been a fan of Ederson from Atalanta. Zubimendi would have been great as well. Not really sure about the Arlie and Tchouameni stuff at the minute. But again, if he's who the manager wanted, I'd be all for it. And then, what was the other position you mentioned? Right wing. Oh, God. Look, Marmoush is the forward I want. But we're going to need to move somebody on before we can look at another forward. Because right now we've got Mohamed Salah, Federico Chiesa, Diogo Jota, Darwin Núñez, Cody Gakpo, Luis Diaz, and Jadon Danns. That's 7 for 3. I don't think we can afford to bloat the squad with an 8th attacker. So I think I'd love Marmoush, but only if we have to or if somebody moves on. That's it for me on that one. Right, look, I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to go grab some food, watch a bit of NFL, and I will see you guys tomorrow. So, David Lynch video is going to be out tomorrow evening at about 5, so keep an eye out for that. I'm recording a news video that's going to come out in the morning as well, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow night for a stream. Much love, my friends. I'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to drop a like for me before you head off if you can as well. Appreciate you.